Valentina doesn't seem like a conventional antagonist on the surface, but her actions in Thunderbolts prove that she fits right in with other MCU villains. The director of the CIA is the reason why the Thunderbolts cross paths in the first place. Though she is not the type to get her hands dirty herself, the Thunderbolts come to realize how big of a mysterious threat Valentina really is. As a result of her carelessness with the Sentry project, Valentina was responsible for Bob's transformation. She was able to control Bob for a while, directing him to do her dirty work and fight off her enemies until he eventually cracked. Bob, being the last remaining test subject, did partially have to do with chance. But his initial admittance into the Sentry project was no random decision from Valentina. Valentina's storyline with Sentry already makes her a major Thunderbolts antagonist. The people who applied to join Valentina's Sentry project weren't fully aware of what they were signing on for, but they knew it involved a thorough background check. After reading his file, Valentina's initial interest in Bob was because of his traumatic childhood. Although she didn't know the full extent of his trauma at the time, she knew that he was an emotionally vulnerable individual with little to lose. Even before attempting to have the Thunderbolts killed and controlling Sentry, Valentina already showed signs of being an ill-intended antagonist. She was willing to manipulate those who were already suffering for her own gain, knowing that their low self-esteem would make them easier to control. Valentina may not have outright harmed people like other MCU villains have, but her willingness to prey on the weak says a lot about her morals. Valentina's belief that she can manipulate Bob reveals her true nature as an MCU villain. Easy targets for Valentina's Sentry project, but Bob's circumstances stood out to her in particular. While trapped in the void, Yelena was given insight into Bob's childhood with his abusive father. That would have been information that Valentina was already aware of after reading his initial Sentry project file. While Valentina never stooped to the level of violent manipulation, his childhood was clearly a sore subject considering how Bob reacted to her bringing it up. Valentina made Bob feel special and wanted. Since he didn't have a strong grasp of what a healthy mentor figure looks like, he was drawn to her. Valentina is able to convince Bob to do many things, like dye his hair and embrace his new hero persona, but he finally cracks when she instructs him to kill the Thunderbolts. They were the only people genuinely kind to him, and their kindness clearly stuck with him. However, his newfound alliance with the new Avengers might not stop Valentina from acting again. Sentry was a product of her experimentation, and Valentina likely isn't just going to let him get away with settling down. It won't be a surprise if she tries manipulating her again. Although Bob has a stronger support system than before, Valentina could still find ways to capitalize on his insecurities. In the final moments of Thunderbolts, Yelena threatens Valentina with the information they have on her. Knowing what they're capable of, the threat should be enough to keep her in check. The new Avengers clearly care for Bob and have likely put their foot down with Valentina about manipulating him again. However, in the chance that she still tries her luck, it will be an interesting problem for the new Avengers to tackle.